Hi, welcome to the Dartarian Show. This is the 1 year anniversary episode.
1 year. Doesn't feel like it's been that long.
No, it hasn't. So we got Dom, me, Alex, and Trey.
Yep. Everybody in the studio today who's been a part of the podcast for the last year.
Yeah. And, well, we don't have Coda, but he's somewhere else. But he is responsible for our logo, the Dartarian Show logo that you guys see every time you guys play an episode.
Yep.
So, first off, let's start with our favorite episodes of this entire year.
Mm-hmm.
What was yours?
Actually, I have a couple different ones. I really liked the Hollow Earth. I enjoyed the Darwin Awards, and I also liked the Myths and Monsters.
Oh, yeah. Well, a lot of people like that the Mythical Monsters episode.
Mm-hmm.
The first one, anyways. Trey, what was your favorite?
My favorite was the Mandela Effect.
That was a good one.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Mandela Effect's cool, too, because that's something that can continue to come out with new stuff as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Things that other generations have experienced as a Mandela Effect.
Yeah, mine, my favorite, or I actually have a couple too. Possessions and Exorcisms was a good one. I really like the serial killer episodes. Those are really fun.
John Wayne Gacy and Edmund Kemper.
Yeah. And
we also did Elizabeth Bathory and
they were
who else
good
did
ones.
We do? Is that all those serial? I guess technically we've done several murder ones. We did the Adam Walsh one.
Yeah. Which yeah. And then with other we've talked about serial killers and urban legends. South Carolina. Urban Legends South Carolina. Those are serial killers too.
Right.
So more serial killers to come this year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was reading something about this thing about Ukraine. I know we don't normally talk about politics and stuff like that, but I was just reading the news, so I was kind of distracted there for a second.
Oh yeah, that's something that's really gripped everyone, and everyone who's listening could probably attest to. That is, we try to stay away from politics, but politics enter everyone's life whether we want to or not. Especially if you're scrolling through Facebook or Twitter or Instagram to just pop up.
Mm-hmm.
Did you have anything you want to talk about, Trey? No? All right, well, I have something. And you know how, I'm a skeptic, right?
Yeah.
And I think that shit's fake and all that crap.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I found a website where it debunks myths.
But like a Mythbusters type thing, or?
Sort of. It uses science to debunk famous urban legends.
Okay.
The ones that everybody know. Like one of the top myth is alligators live in the New York City sewers.
Yeah. I think we did that. We covered that too.
I think it wasn't New York though. It was
probably Florida.
Yeah, it was probably Florida and stuff. But basically, the most recent that they can even find with this legend is that there was a baby alligator hiding under a parked car in 2010. So that was the newest one, but it goes all the way back to the 1920s.
Yeah, and there's that movie, The Alligator, which
which
implies that if you flush your alligator down the toilet, that's what's going to happen. You're going to have a couple of fully grown adult alligators in the sewers of New York.
So there are alligators, but sewer maintenance workers have never seen any alligators down there. So
it doesn't necessarily mean they're not there. I mean, they could still be there, just hiding.
Well, it's because they wouldn't have anything to eat down in the sewer, but rats. But they don't. They have to
I don't know. Have you seen those New York rats? They're like the size of small dogs.
Yeah, but they would have to eat
huge,
a ton.
A lot, yeah.
And it's too cold. They simply don't eat during the winter. So they'd starve to death.
Mm.
Their bones would go soft. The polluted sewer water would basically kill them after a few months.
Right.
So basically they went through and said, well, according to science, this isn't going to work. Like, they're there because people are stupid, and they buy them as pets to put in their bathtub, and just like, oh, well, shit, they're getting bigger. Let me not flush it down the toilet because,
Yeah.
for one, to flush an alligator down the toilet, it has to be the size of a salamander.
Well, they're pretty small when they're
Not that small.
firstborn. Yeah.
They're still like 2 feet.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Not 2 feet, but I mean, like, they're still pretty big. I don't think they're gonna fit down a toilet, unless one of you like one of those super suction powered ones that like
yeah, probably.
scare the shit out of you when you
I
go
don't know.
shit in the Walmart
There's
bathroom.
Lots of snakes and stuff, and rats and everything else can get up and down the toilet. So why not?
Yeah, and there's that python. Remember that python that came from the toilet? Also, there's a myth about mixing Pop Rocks with soda can cause an
Myth- that-
explosive reaction
yeah,
in your
that-
stomach. That's one Mythbusters did cover.
Yeah, they covered that, and it was supposedly this kid that had died from it, but it's not true.
Yeah, Mikey from the Old Life cereal commercials.
Yeah.
He ate 6 bags of Pop Rocks at a party and drank a 6-pack of soda, causing his stomach to explode.
No.
So that's the myth.
False.
Nope, it won't. Your stomach can expand like four or five times.
Did you know that if you give a seagull an Alka-Seltzer, they'll blow up because they don't release gas like we do. So basically, they'll just swell and swell and swell until they pop.
That's well. The next myth or the third myth is like that. It's if you throw rice at a wedding, birds will eat the
Yeah.
rice and explode.
Yeah.
It won't. It's
No, Alka-Seltzer will. I can tell you that right now.
yeah. Well, that's ridiculous, and that's one of the things. Is says people give them Alka-Seltzers and stuff, but basically, they just poop it out. It just goes right through them. I mean, why rice? It's because it expands.
I guess. That's
A
the
grain
theory.
of rice is not that big. And even when it expands, it doesn't grow that big. I mean,
No.
go home
Not one
and
grain
cook
of
rice.
Not a single grain of rice, no. I mean, they'd have to eat like a shitload. I think the only thing that would do is weigh them down a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I've eaten a lot of rice, and it's made me, like, constipated, but that's it.
Yeah.
Like, it's never, like, blew up my stomach.
I've never been a big rice fan. I just don't like the plainness of it.
Well, I mean, that's why you make it with stuff.
I know, but I don't like those flavors either. So
Oh.
kind of a
Well, you put salt on everything. You put enough salt on the rice, you'll stop tasting the rice.
I suppose.
Just get salt and just put like a dash of rice in there. That's pretty much how you eat. All right. What do you guys think about like where we should go in the future?
I think we're at our best when we kind of just pick a topic and go with it, not really have a certain, subject. Like we started out just doing the urban legends for each state. That's all we were doing. And then we kind of branched off for that and we were doing some true crime. We've done some creepypastas, stuff like that. But we've generally kind of stuck to the more supernatural, morbid horror side of things.
Yeah.
Rather than, anything else. But we have done a couple of funny episodes too, like the Darwin Awards and
Yeah, the
stuff
Urban
like
Legends
that.
Florida
or
had
just
that.
interesting ones like the Hollow Earth or Bermuda Triangle, stuff like that.
Yeah, I think the Bermuda Triangle is probably my least favorite.
Yeah,
It's because like
it's kind
it
of
wasn't
boring
because
just
yeah,
reading
it was
transcripts and stuff from
it was that was
ships and
boring,
everything.
and it was like debunked like right in the
Yeah.
research. It was
Yeah.
like, yeah, this is what it's all disappearing. No, it's
But
not that many.
Yeah,
And
I liked our Pirates one.
yeah, the Pirates.
Pirates and our King of the Pirates ones I liked.
Yeah, we just did. That was the last episode, the King,
Yeah.
the Pirate King. So if you haven't listened to that, go listen to it. It's really great. Where do you think we
Also-
should go, Trey?
Yeah, let's hear it.
Anime.
Anime, huh?
Or politics and religion.
No, I don't know. No,
what?
I'm not.
Okay.
I'm not doing politics and religion. I'll do anime though.
What?
I'll talk about some anime.
For what? Anime? What?
What do you mean? What? That's just anime in general.
No, that's no.
Why not?
We can talk about a cult that started and it has anime around it.
What?
Shariko.
I'm
It's a Japanese
100% positive that is not true.
Yeah, it is. It's a Japanese cult,
No.
and they are like really geeky into anime and like all this other stuff, video games, and like just like really nerdy shit that people would be like, "Oh, you're a nerd" back then, but
So,
now it's really
like,
cool.
Normal things.
Yeah,
that
now
everybody does.
but back then it was like nerdy. But anyways, yeah, but they did the cyan gas terrorist attacks in Japan, in Tokyo.
Wow.
So yeah, they're a really bad thing.
Oh.
But they're all like, "Oh, if you like anime, come in here," and stuff. And they had to wear like electrodes on their head and stuff. It was really bad. It's like one of the craziest cults ever.
Sounds weird.
And there's actually still a lot of members out there that are around there. The leader's arrested though; he's in jail. But yeah, there's still people that follow his teachings and stuff. So is that like a segue into something anime, or is that like religion, or do you want to talk about politics? Religion?
No,
No? Okay.
I just think that's the direction you should go in.
Why? No. I mean, so do you like the structure? Like how we started out with the episodes? We released all the episodes beforehand.
I'm never pleased with anything, to be honest. Like we can do things one way, and then I'll be like, all right, I think it'd be better if we did it the other way. And then we do it the other way, and it'd be like, nah, I liked it the other way better. Or we could try and do it this way. It's really hard to find something that sticks and does good. That's why it's so hard for people to actually get famous doing stuff like this. They find a thing that they're good at, and they just concentrate all their time on that. But for me, I get bored if I focus on one thing for too long.
Mm-hmm.
So
that's another reason why I've set up the episodes to where we're not talking about like urban legend. I was like, okay, urban legend, serial killer, creepypasta.
throw
Yeah.
some Dungeons and Dragons in there too.
Yeah, definitely some D&D. I mean, we have enough mics now. We could start a D&D show.
Yeah.
Yeah. Get some guys
What are
over.
we
and-
going to call it?
I don't know. A lot of the good names are
The
taken.
Dartarian roll.
Oh, the Dartarian 20.
D20.
D20. Yeah, but I think there's a podcast called that. But
Probably.
yeah. But
Maybe our listeners will give us some ideas for a Dungeons and Dragons themed podcast for the Dartarian show.
yeah, that'd be pretty cool.
Any topic in general, we'll talk about anything, literally anything.
Yeah.
If there's something that needs to be talked about, we'll talk about it.
Most of the time I'm in podcast mode. So literally someone will say something to me and I'll be like, okay. And I'll go on like a 3-hour tangent about everything that surrounds that.
At least you're not like me. I will sit there and be like, okay, I want to talk about this thing, but I'm going to hold it and wait until the podcast, and then I'll forget. So I have like these like tons and tons of podcast notes that I never write down, and I always forget before the actual podcast. So
Yeah.
untapped potential there. We got like a gold mine of content that's just
we have
floating out the window.
the most interesting conversations when the mics aren't on.
I know.
Like when we're nowhere near the mics, we're like, God dang it.
I wonder if there's a thing for that. Like I know people get stage fright, and
No, it's forgetfulness. Like if we don't have something right there, like I can talk like everything.
it's bad for me with doing the research too. Though is tough. Whenever Trey's not doing it, because I'll go to research something, right, and then I'll read the same thing like 3 or 4 different times, and not retain any of it. So like I've done the research for it, right?
Yeah.
And I've spent like 4 hours on it and literally learned nothing the entire time.
Well, you were right about the John Wayne Gacy episode.
I'm always right.
Yeah, and I was like, no, he didn't. There's not one, but they just released it like that week.
Right after I said something.
no, before.
Before I said
I just
something?
didn't see it and
Oh.
stuff because it didn't just pop up. I guess I followed.
Yeah,
like,
I
all the
had seen
stuff.
at some point before we did the episode that they had just found another one of his victims.
Yeah, his name was Francis Wayne Alexander. So
And he was found in 2020.
he was identified. He was found in the 70s.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
like when they dug him
but
up.
they finally got
He
closure
was
for the family.
He was victim number 5, and they finally 40 years later they finally gave
Wow.
closure to the family. So that's
Yeah. Are there any more left to be identified, or is that?
yeah. I
Yeah.
think that makes 4 or 5 left that haven't been identified. It takes a long time because if their family's DNA is not in the system, then they never find them.
Yeah.
So that's just people. It just pinged.
I seen a thing. I guess it was on TikTok, like a skit, and it was one guy was walking through this dark abandoned parking garage, right? And a dude pulls up next to him. He's like, "Hey, you need a lift?" And he's like, "Yeah." And then he gets in the car and he's like, "Okay." He's like, "I'm gonna kill you now." And he's like, "Oh man." He's like, "You're the hitchhiker murderer." And he's like, "Yeah." He's like, "Oh man, you're an inspiration to me," or whatever. He's like, "I'm the hitchhiker picker upper murderer," or something like that. And it was funny because that's like they're both serial killers. The ones that preys on hitchhikers and one that preys on people that hit or pick up hitchhikers.
Yeah, they're like, "What do we do now?" And they just start trying to strangle each other.
Yeah. I just wonder if that ever.
They do admire each other's work.
Yeah, I know they do.
They do.
And I know that there have been a couple of serial killer pairs, but has there ever been a case, or do you think maybe not even one that we've come up across yet, but of 2 different serial killers, right? Mm-hmm. Working together, but with different MOs. To I don't know how to.
I know what you're saying, because my thing is,
like, say, what if Ted Bundy and Jeffrey Dahmer had ended up teaming up together, or John Wayne Gacy and Ed Kemper,
Yeah,
I know. Do they do that, or is it kind of like a lone wolf type thing for them? They're kind of just like a singular. Because I know with a lot of them, it's kind of like a personal thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, each of them get like something different out of it. If I had to guess, I would say yes. I think that Henry Lee Lucas and Otis O'Toole.
Yeah, that's the one I was thinking about.
I think they had different MOs a little bit. Otis O'Toole, he killed pretty much like children, little boys and stuff, and Otis O'Toole Henry Lee Lucas basically just killed random like older women, and he killed his wife, his little 14-year-old wife. So
it's ridiculous.
Yeah, but he confessed to a lot of to a lot of killings that he didn't even do. Right. Like the only one that they had was an old lady and his wife. That's the only ones that they could actually stamp him to. But like Otis O'Toole is the one who claimed credit for Adam Walsh. Mm-hmm. But I don't think I think he did it, but I don't know if he did it, like, kind of thing, because I was looking at the evidence and stuff.
It's another one of those things, because we talked about it before, how he liked him and the other guy too. They both like
they lie a lot
to claim credit for stuff that wasn't theirs.
Yeah. So you know how like in Dexter, how serial killers recognize other serial killers, like do you think that's real, or?
I mean, I'm sure it is. Yeah.
It's yes and no is the top answer for psychiatrists. They pick up on certain behaviors long before anyone else could. Yeah. But just in a passing brief encounter, no. Like, so Dexter, when he sees that pedophile, right, in the store, he knows that he's a predator.
Right.
Yeah.
Just by watching him. Yeah.
No, you can't pick up, because they're serial killers and pedophiles and all that crap. They're literally pretending to be normal. Yeah. So, like, unless he's really bad at pretending to be normal and, like, really creepy, which, I mean, for the show's effect, he was. Mm-hmm. Like, as soon as he started talking to that little girl, we're like, that's a fucking pedophile. Yeah. And it's just, there's some people that you can just tell that they're creepy as shit, and there's other people like, Ted Bundy that was like
came
charming,
off as completely normal, and like you couldn't possibly imagine that they would do something like that type deal.
Trey, do you think you could spot a serial killer?
No.
Can you elaborate a little bit more? Or?
No, I have a problem with thinking everyone's bad.
Yeah.
So
I
I
get
couldn't
that.
identify a serial killer because to me
Everybody's
everyone
a serial
is.
killer.
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
That
you're,
old lady walking down the street with crutches, she's a serial killer. We'll call her.
hey, she could be a
Grandma.
poisoner. She could be a poisoner.
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah, most women are poisoners because it's just easier to clean up.
Yeah.
Women are like, I'm gonna have to clean this mess up.
So you guys did the we did the possessions, and or you two did the possessions and exorcisms thing, and we also did the hauntings where we did the Halloween episode, even though it cut out and we had some sound issues.
And the Jesse
Trey,
James episode.
yeah. Did you have any other experiences since then that has been notable, or
Yeah, we got new chords, so you shouldn't mess up now. So you want to go ahead and just tell us about that haunting that we couldn't really tell us about, like your gray face. What was it called? Pale face.
Pale face?
Yeah, pale face. Tell us that story, since no one will be able to hear it because you can't. It's like.
Getting the mic situated.
It's pale face,
Sorry.
not gray face. And I'm not the only one that's seen it.
Mm-mm.
So my sibling has too. And you asked last time. Someone did. I can't remember who. If he shows up more when I'm stressed, or what was the other one? Stressed or
Tired.
yeah. I think that the answer is actually yes. He does show up more when I'm stressed.
Right.
So
I mean, that would make sense. I mean, if you're looking at it in the supernatural aspect of things, it could be something like feeding off negative energy or something like that. And if you're looking at it like the positive or the scientific side of things, it could just simply be you're overly tired, you're overly stressed, your mind is, filling in the gaps or whatever, or showing you stuff that's not there. Either way,
Have you ever had sleep paralysis?
No, I've heard people talk about it, but I have never personally experienced it. The closest thing I've ever had to that is waking up but not being fully awake, if that makes any sense. Like, I'll be awake, I can acknowledge that I'm awake, but I'm not completely out of that sleep state yet to where I can move myself around or anything like that. It's like my consciousness comes to before the rest of my body does, type deal. But I've never had a situation where I'm just stuck.
I have. It was about like 3 years ago because I was pregnant with my third, and it was the only time ever that, and I didn't see anything, like they sometimes say, but I could not move, and it scared me so bad. I like hyperventilated a little bit, but it was awful. It was so bad, and it's not happened since.
Just the one time?
Just the one time. I don't know what it was.
Oh, I've had the experience with sleep paralysis. Well, not really, I don't think. Mine is basically I was having a bad dream, and I like when you wake up and you're not really awake in a dream. Like you wake up in your dream, but you're not awake.
I just said that, yeah.
No, you said you were awake and you could acknowledge you're awake. No, I woke up, like I woke up out of the dream. It was like Inception. Like I was in a dream within a dream. I would wake up and I was like, oh,
okay.
and stuff. And I was like, oh, I'm awake. And then realize I'm still in the dream.
Mm-hmm.
But like I would pull myself out. Like I'd be like trying to lift my head and like just straining with everything I have. And then finally I'd wake up, I'd pull out of it.
Mm.
And I'm like, oh my God. And then like I lay my head back down and go right back into that same damn dream. So I don't know if I was awake or not. You know what I'm saying? Like trying to lift my head and I couldn't, and pull myself out of the dream. And then it's usually the Michael Myers dreams where I'm trying to get out of this house I used to live in, and I'm running down the driveway and I can never get past the driveway. As fast as I run and as hard as I run, he always catches me.
I think it's like that thing that dogs do where whatever's happening in the dream, your outside body and shit's reflecting it.
Oh, like running?
Yeah,
And
so
going,
Yeah, well, you're like in the dream, you're trying to get away from Michael Myers, so your body's reflecting that type deal.
Yeah, I like how it's never a ghost. It's always Michael Myers or a killer.
Yeah.
Because I don't believe in ghosts. I just believe in killers.
Well, Michael Myers isn't real either, so.
Yeah, but he could be. Yeah, obviously he's not real. I know that, but like someone could be like. There's serial killers out there, real serial killers. Now they're not like Michael Myers, but they could be. I don't know. There might be one that wears a white mask and goes around. It's literally not like the most conspicuous thing you can wear. A white ass mask and like in the dark. I don't know how people don't see him.
No, I don't know. The logic in those movies just doesn't make sense sometimes.
It's the best slasher movie, though. It's way better than anyone else. It's like a psychological slasher movie. So, and the first one didn't even have that much blood.
Yeah.
Probably because they couldn't afford it, but...
Yeah.
All right, Dre. Is there anything else you want to tell us about Paleface or any of your other ghostly encounters?
No.
Okay. Well, fine. What about you, Dom? Do you have any ghostly encounters that you've experienced since we've had the Hauntings episode?
No, nothing. Well, there's been a couple times where you've seen something, or I've seen something, and or thought I see something that's not there or whatever, but it's just like out of the corner of the eye type deal.
What is that? Remember that time when we were in the living room or whatever, watching
yeah.
something, and then like all of a sudden we thought the dog came up behind us.
Yeah, literally both of us. That's what made it so weird. Is both of us seen the dog out of the corner of our eyes, the peripheral vision. Both of us turned to acknowledge that the dog was there at the same time, and both of us were looking at nothing. There was nothing there. It was the weirdest thing ever, and the dog was not even in the same room.
No, he was in the back room. But
I think it's one of those phantom things, like how your phone will vibrate in your pocket. You get so used to seeing something day in and day out that it kind of just.
Mm-hmm. I think I know what it is. I think your brain replays it. Like it happened earlier in the day, and your brain just like, oh, I'm bored. I'm just going to show you this.
Phasing out, yeah.
Yeah. So it was kind of late. But hopefully these mics sound better. They're brand new mics. And next week we'll actually be in our studio. We've been talking about it for a whole year.
Yeah,
and we'll be in the studio next week.
Finally.
So it's been a year in the making, but we will be in the studio. And hopefully you won't hear children and dogs and
doors opening,
doors slamming and knocking around and stuff.
Yeah.
So you'll have a better listening experience. But before we go, I wanted to thank the 3 people who did email us and we read. Well, we got a lot of emails, but the ones we picked. Randy, Donna, and Ivan.
Mm-hmm.
So we appreciate you guys being loyal listeners. So is there anything else you wanted to talk about? Or I know this is kind of like a shitty episode for a 1-year anniversary, but
I mean, there's a lot going on right now.
We wanted to just let everybody know that, like, hey, we appreciate you guys
absolutely.
listening.
This is what is for you guys more than anything else. Just the fact that we've been doing this for a year, and listeners are going up slowly but surely, and it's super awesome being able to see that number go up and the views and stuff like that. It's something that I never expected. So
yeah, and when you guys listen back, we'll hopefully Trey's story about Paleface will actually be uncompromised, and you'll actually be able to hear it.
And as time goes on, we do the studio and we continue putting out episodes and stuff. The content will get better, and as we get more equipment and everything else too, programs, everything like that. So
we'll actually have more guests on.
Yeah,
we're getting an episode's getting ready to come up about skinwalkers that one of my friends is going to come over, and we're talk about it. I don't know if you want to do the episode with us, or were you just going to set that one out?
I'll see closer to time.
Okay, yeah, it's a couple weeks away. So, and we may have some more guests on and give Trey a break, because how talkative she is. Her jaws just keep running
nonstop.
So, yeah, just a woman of many, many words. So, all right, guys. Thank you guys for listening. We appreciate all the love and support you guys give us.
For sure.
Follow that link below in the description to find us all on social media. And you can email us, too, from that link below. Just give us a shout-out. Tell us that, we can hear children in the background and everything.
Yeah.
And thank God we're getting our studio next week or something. All right. Well, we love you guys, and we'll see you next week for a brand new episode.
Thanks for listening.